And we go to the next part of our session. And this will be another interview and will be about the challenges that treasuries of big enterprises are facing nowadays. Anton Krasninkov, head of digital channels, Raiffeisen Bank Russia, will ask Mercedes-Benz Russia, Alexander Pazhich, CFO, and Svetlana Prilipka, head of treasury, what are they facing nowadays and what are solutions for this challenge?
Hello, my name is Anton. I'm a guest. I'm a guest in this wonderful room of Mercedes-Benz Russia. And the hosts are Alex and Svetlana. Hello.
Hello, nice to meet you, Anton.
I have a topic today to discuss. My interest is the real-time treasury management. And the first question, Alex, will be, you have such a complicated company and almost difficulty of operations. How does liquidity process look like in such a company?
Thank you for the question, Anton. And I have to tell you, my answer would probably be 2 years ago a different one than I'm telling you right now. Why? Because we faced last year worldwide, not ourselves only, the situation that we reconsidered and saw how important the topic of liquidity management is. So first of all, let me comment what is for me liquidity. This is, let's say it's simple. I know there are different definitions. It's cash flow management. So how much cash do you have directly on hand, or how much cash can you on very short notice receive if you need it? So in this matter, you can imagine last year, especially a capital intensive sector or industry like the automotive industry is, leads to the situation that you lose all of a sudden for 2 or 3 months all your revenue, so your income. And all of a sudden you see, okay, it's good that we had already a professional organization with Oksana, reliable partners like the banks, because we all of a sudden had very quickly to react in order to safeguard the cash for the company. You know, meanwhile, the situation is a little bit better, definitely, but I'm sometimes laughing because my professor at the university used to say, forget the EBIT and the balance sheet, company will always die out of a cash issue. So it's not about, when you talk about the survival of a company, you have to have enough cash on hands. And this is one of the crucial points. Therefore, liquidity management, cash management is also, especially for our company, a very, very important topic. Underestimated in the past from my point of view, and meanwhile, really, really important to manage. And of course, we manage it, we try to do it with different instruments, not only historical based data, we also look in predictive analytics where we see and hopefully can understand in 1 second where we have to decide how it will develop over the next days, weeks, and months. So definitely, from my point of view, one of the most decisive functions which have to work in a company, otherwise you will just face the sudden death, how I call it.
Svetlana, I worked in 2 worlds, in the world of banking and in the world of corporate systems, ERP systems. And I see these worlds disconnected right now, even 15 years after I had experience with ERP systems. And that was a surprise for me when I came back to corporate banking world. Do you see any major obstacles that are built based on the fact that these 2 worlds are disconnected?
Yes, for sure. Maybe I would like to say, first of all, that like we faced 2 years ago, that for big companies who need a lot of liquidity for operational business, it is very important to have lots of bank partners for diversification of the business. And because when all the world faces with a situation like we have 2 years ago, the banks, when in case you have just one partner, you will not have enough loan facility limits for one big company. Yes, and that is why the diversification is very important. Unfortunately, all the banks have its own bank system, yeah, where the companies have to get the access with different processes, with different logins, with different passwords, and so on. And it is very difficult for the companies to understand in which system and how they need to work and to establish this. That is why, for me personally, and not only for me, but also for my colleagues from the business, it would be more convenient and more easy in case in future there will be a possibility for the companies to work in their own ERP system, which will have a very good connection with so-called maybe multi-banking connectivity. From which the payments could be established for different banks. Yes. So in such case, the company will have a possibility to work in their own system, and at the same time, she will have a diversification between the banks and, for its business.
Thank you. Alex, in Raiffeisen, we've invested heavily for the last couple of years in real-time processes, in APIs, in building the embedded solutions with SAP and 1C, the local ERP system. Do you think that the companies might benefit from the real-time processes with regards to liquidity, with regards to financial services overall?
Definitely. First answer, definitely. Why? When we talk about real-time processes, I mean, as I said before, once you established treasury management and cash management, which is effective, so you're going in the right direction, the natural next steps is to do it more efficient. So we talk about efficiency here from my point of view. Right. And of course, it's for each, especially for us also, an value added if I have real-time information, especially when I need it. Because sometimes we see that the development goes into one direction, and then I would have to need really to get the information in that second by even saying, okay, I want to see now what are the current possibilities to place a deposit in this moment, or to take a loan, or to move something, or to give something back. And this is a very decisive point for me in terms of efficiency. And therefore, I definitely would like to have real-time informations, but really integrated in our world, in our processes. And I think it's a good thing that the banks are investing in this topic. What I think we might all together maybe think through is how to connect it between the banks, like Svetlana said it, but also between the banks and the clients. Because it's, for me, it's still not a seamless, experience where I always have to think, okay, I have different, of course, partners, different banks, and I always have to access them in a different way. The connection between us and the banks is also a little bit, let's say, designed differently, and therefore there is still some potential in there. Yeah? But I see it definitely in the right way, because especially talking about the future, you have so much quick changes, so much dynamics, uncertainties. The decision you made an hour before, you maybe have to revise it in 2 hours, and therefore real-time information are definitely necessary, because the world changes also extremely fast.
Alex, these changes we're talking about, the automation of processes, the fast speed, financial flows, information regarding financial flows, it has evidently some impact to the profiles of people you hire, and also a second part to probably your role as well. Does it change? Does it transform somehow?
Absolutely, Anton, and this is one of the very, very interesting questions, not only for now, but for the future, because I see definitely this trend and this trend of transformation. So getting more and more digital, understanding what digitalization means, using the advantages of a digitalized world, that you have more precise information, more customized information. At the end, we talk about customers. We're all customer in one way, and going more digital gives the huge opportunity and chance really to satisfy also the customer needs. And everybody has maybe also some individual needs, and this is much more convenient to do it in a digitalized way, because you are capable of really then considering all these wishes and needs from a customer point of view. Talking about the functions and the background, yes, of course, not only in terms of qualification, but also in functions as itself. You would always have the need to have a more common understanding what the business is from end to end.
Right.
An efficient digitalization, at least from my point of view, will never happen if you do not have end-to-end process understanding, and if you're not capable of putting all the functions together in this process and making them understandable. If one function is not working or one portion, you will never get the best process, the best product, and also the best services for your customers.
Thank you. Svetlana, these transformations in human capital, how does this impact your function, treasury management? How does it impact you, your job, your role, and the people you're working about, the people you hire?
For sure, but I would like to say maybe if we compare the education 10 or 20 years ago to the current one, yes, in the older institutes where you have finance education, you are also have to study digital topics, I mean IT or some analytics data, more analysis. And now we have a possibility to hire people also with finance education, but also with IT background. And it's really very good because we are not working only in XLS files like it happened 15 or 20 years ago, yes. Now we are working in the very nice systems, yes, and we can work with big data and extract analytics from this databases, and it's great. And I believe that in future, people and humans and employees, they will be even more educated in such areas, and digitalized world is coming.
There is a book by Yuval Harari, *Sapiens*, and this author makes a lot of effort to prove that the algorithms will finally, ultimately change our lives. And some of the functions will become extinct. So the provocative question here is whether the changes that we observe with regards to automation make at some point financial services and people involved in treasury, for example, extinct. Is this kind of future that we can observe?
It's definitely a provocative question in general, because you can even say maybe we don't need the human mankind anymore, because to one certain point of view you will have everything fully artificial intelligence and everything done. I don't believe so, because there is still, hopefully, when I see it so, the need for human capital, for human beings to build up the systems, to develop them further, and also maybe sometimes to say, okay, here is the point, here is the edge reached. Also talking about possibilities where machines will always say, okay, this is the algorithm, go in this direction. Even you have, I don't know, lethal situations where somebody with the machine says, I don't care, that's it. Yeah. So I think there will be also the need always in financial services to connect the points. And as I said before, maybe not being the financial specialist, but let's say the value added specialist. So no matter where you are, what you are doing, you have to understand the business and to generate value added. And then it doesn't matter if you are a finance specialist, even marketing, sales, or whatever functions, IT, digital profile specialist, you have to generate, or you should think about how to generate value added, working together with the people, having the right culture. These are the topics which never a machine, from my point of view, could replace a human being.
Thank you, Alex. That sounds very optimistic. Thank you very much for the conversation. Thank you for being a host in this wonderful showroom. And it was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you too. It was
Thank
nice
you,
to meet
Anton.
you.
Nice to meet you.